Once you learn how to let go, your resistance to life and to the present circumstances you experience will be released immediately. In this video, I'm about to show you what makes letting go hard, why so many people struggle with it. And if you stay with me until the end, on this second whiteboard, I'll show you what is the solution to that, how to make letting go easy as fuck, so that we can live a life of freedom, emotional freedom, and detachment. That being the case, let's directly get into it. First of all, I want to start with what makes letting go hard. Oh, and before I forget, let me introduce myself for a moment. I am Daniel, the owner of this channel, Higher Consciousness with Daniel, and I am here to trick you into living life by your own higher consciousness design. So if this is something that you're excited about, subscribe and I would love to see you around. Now let's get into the topic. What makes letting go hard? And I've been really studying letting go, the book of letting go, David Hawkins, for the last 6 years, like reading it yearly and contemplating on it. So I'm really trying to live a life of surrender. So here is what I've learned. What makes letting go hard? And there is this simple quote from David Hawkins that we will also contemplate in a moment. What really makes letting go hard is our story, our resistance to the present moment, to what it contains right here and right now. And what the present moment contains, as all of us are familiar, is our thoughts, our stories, the emotional experience that we feel in our body, the sensations that we feel in our body, and the circumstances that are contained within that present moment. So to make this simpler, let's categorize it in two different situations. In the first situation, we can see that what makes letting go hard is our relationship to self. We have a present identity of who we are that is created from all the experiences we've had in our life so far in the last, I don't know how many years you've lived. For me, it's about 26 years. So you have a present identity created from all the experiences you have experienced. And this is who you think you are. This is not who you are, because who you are, you wouldn't be able to know it. It's completely different in every single moment. It's dynamic, it's flowing. But your identity of who you think you are, all the stories that you have come up to be who you think you are, this identity, it always have a relationship to yourself. So let's call this identity, who you think you are, the small self. This is all the stories in your mind, everything that you know about yourself, which is a mental picture, a mental story. You try to describe who you are with words, and you have a self-image. This self-image, it has a relationship to yourself in the present moment, which is exactly what happens. So here is the small self, which has a relationship to yourself in the present moment. And if you understand this, you will see what makes letting go so hard. Why there is always this, I don't know, maybe a minute, maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. For me, it's up to 15 minutes sometimes of resistance before the actual letting go process starts happening and we release what we have been attached to. So this relationship we have to our self, the small self, the relationship that the small self has to yourself in the moment is basically the story that you frame yourself in relation to whatever you've experienced right now. So this is basically the story that you create about your own present feelings and about your own present thoughts. Let's say you had an expectations of how you should have behaved, and you didn't behave in that ideal. Reality didn't match what you were expecting of yourself. And then this small self, in the relationship to who you are in that moment, perceives that you did something wrong. So this attitude of wrongness, this is wrong. What I did, what I thought, what I felt is wrong. This is the block. This is what makes letting go hard. The perception that you did something wrong, the perception that you felt something wrong. Maybe you felt resentment, maybe you felt anger, maybe you felt guilt, fear, shame, sadness. Some feeling which is not comfortable, and for whatever reason, maybe because you were reading so many books on spirituality and self-help, you assume that it's wrong for me to experience these kind of feelings because they mean that I am not complete, I am not whole, right? And this is something that happens to everybody. In our own relationship to ourselves in the present moment, if we make that relationship wrong, what I'm currently experiencing is not okay. This is the walk to letting go. Because look at it this way. The present moment, reality, what it is right now, it is already complete. For everything it contains, all the feelings you have about yourself, all the feelings you experience, all the thoughts you have about yourself, all the circumstances around you, the fact that they are here right now proves that a higher power, a higher consciousness has given them the authority to exist. If they exist, right? So this is what reality proves. Reality is complete. This present moment is complete. But when we create a story about the feeling we experience that this is not okay, I shouldn't be feeling this right now. I've worked on myself for so many years, I should be much better. This is not okay. Then we are imposing that story on what is currently happening in reality, and we can't let go. Because we are not experiencing what is happening directly, what is being present to us directly. We are imposing a story on top of it, assuming that it should be different, trying to change it or trying to escape it, which is what the mind tries to do. And this doesn't allow us to let go. So in the first scenario, it's always about the relationship to self. Your own present relationship to self. Your awareness has a relationship to yourself. And this is the stories in your mind. These stories are keeping you stuck from letting go. Now, this is the first situation in which it's relatable to most people who are on the self-awareness path, the spiritual awakening journey, their self-development path also. People who are trying to fix themselves, heal themselves, trying to be better. In the second situation, which we'll look at right now, we see something a little bit different. This is what keeps us stuck in our relationship to others and the circumstances in our life. So maybe these are the things outside of you. Maybe this is your relationship with your girlfriend, for example, or like to your husband or to your wife. Maybe this is your relationship to your job situation, to your boss. Maybe this is your relationship to whatever happened with a family member 5 years ago in the past. So this is to relationship to things outside of you. And again, the reason why it's hard to let go of them, the reason why it's hard for us to let these feelings in relation to what has happened on the outside come up and accept them for what they are, is because we have a story. And maybe the biggest example that everybody can relate to, which is in the field of romantic relationships. So all of us, I believe all of us, have had this experience where we were in a relationship and we assumed that this was the one. This person is the person I'm supposed to be living my life with. And something happened. You separated, you broke up, and then you're still regurgitating that story that this should have been the one. It's not fair that this person, we're not together anymore. It's not fair that they left me. It's not fair that we don't love each other anymore. This should have been the one. This is a really obvious example because this is something that all of us have experienced. So we make that person and the circumstance that he or she left us wrong. And we superimpose a story on top of that reality, circumstantial reality, that things should be different. We have an expectations and then we are attached to that expectation. So again, it's wrong that she left me. We should have been together. This story is what makes letting go hard. This is why you struggle with letting go. And this is in the form of what he or she did to me is not okay. Maybe something in your mind plays out it's like automated, similar to a script. And for you to let go, we'll go into the mechanism in a moment. But first of all, let's say, remove the blocks to letting go, because it happens spontaneous. I don't believe letting go is something that we do. It's something that happens when we are present to what is currently contained within that present moment. And if you experience pain in relation to somebody who has left you, or in relation to a job situation or a business situation to which you are disappointed, the present moment contains that feeling of loss. The present moment contains that feeling of disappointment. And the present moment contains the story you have about it, the story that makes it wrong. That story is the thing you need to drop. So maybe you say something like, this shouldn't have happened. It already did. Are you fighting with reality? Is this what we're trying to do when we don't want to let go? Are we so... I don't want to use this word, but it's in a way... Are we so dumb to not accept what is presently happening? To fight against it? To have resistance towards it? Because objectively, it's already there. And even though we have a story about what should have happened, what has happened, it's already here. It is reality. So, are we so dumb to not accept what has already happened? This may be a question that we can ask ourselves. And not to judge ourselves, not to condemn. That's not the purpose. It's just for the contemplation, the purpose of contemplation. Maybe just thinking about it, meditating with that question would be helpful. So, this is the second reason or the second circumstance to which we create blocks to letting go. And now, probably at this stage, if you stayed with me, you're curious, okay, but how do we let go? What is the actual process? It's so hard to talk about it because it's so much easier to experience it directly. And maybe we'll make another video on that. But first of all, before I go into that process, and we'll contemplate on one quote that David Hawkins has shared in his book, Letting Go. By the way, if you haven't read it, please do. It's an amazing book. So, letting go, this is some things maybe we could remember about letting go, about the process. Letting go is not about fixing or improving oneself, nor about fixing or improving one's situation in life. It's not about that. You're not letting go to be a better person. It's not about that. It's about accepting what is already happening. Because, again, reality has already happened. The present reality that you're experiencing right now, it's already the case. It's about accepting it. It's not about fixing it, nor about escaping it, nor about making it better. It's about accepting what has happened. And for you to accept what has happened, there mustn't be any difference. There shouldn't be any difference between what you think and what is. What you think about what is the block to letting go. This is the story that makes what has happened wrong. So drop the story to let your feelings be as they are. And at this stage, you're probably wondering, okay, this sounds so beautiful, so insightful, but how can one do this? Well, this is what I want to look at, but join me in this other place where we will contemplate. This is the direct instruction that David Hawkins has given us. And I think it's found in the chapter of anger in the Letting Go book. So he said, to let go, we have to resist the temptation to indulge, making ourselves or others wrong. What does that mean? If we contemplate really upon that, and again, you can directly experience that. I'm experiencing this daily in meditation. If you're meditating, you'll find that there is a sufficient period of time that passes before you're eager to drop the story of what is currently happening. And I have a gift. In the end of the video, I also share a perspective from Eckhart Tolle, from The Power of Now. But let's look at David Hawkins' idea. So, to let go, we have to resist the temptation to indulge, making ourselves or others wrong. So it's about letting go of the mind. Let the mind be. And don't put your awareness in the mind. It's a really simple instruction. So simple that our mind will resist understanding it. That's why I try to illustrate it. So let's say this is who you are, okay? This little person here. and you're closing your eyes, meditating, or you're just contemplating, staying by yourself, you notice a resistance in your body, which you know, or let's say in your mind there is something that you really dislike, and you focus on it and you notice that resistance, the feeling in your body, somewhere in your stomach, for example, or in your heart. A lot of times it happens in those two places. And you say to yourself inwardly, as if you were talking to that sensation, to that feeling, right? Assume that this feeling is listening to you, assume that it's intelligent and it's alive. As if you're talking to me, to another person, and you let that feeling know. Let this belong to the present moment. Let this feeling, let what I am experiencing belong to the present moment. Let me not try to control it or take responsibility of it. Okay? So, because the way the ego has learned to take responsibility of feeling is to either project them, find somebody who is responsible for them, find the guilty person, find the villain outside of us, escape them with some habits, maybe scrolling on your phone, maybe masturbating, maybe watching movies, Netflix, whatever it is, or repress them. That's not okay. It's wrong. Okay, we already discussed that. So when you say to yourself, let this belong to the present moment, let this feeling, whatever it is, belong to where it already is, the present moment. See how simple it is, right? Because it's already here. What you experience in your body as a feeling, if you drop the story, it's already here. It's here. And so your awareness is the power that dissolves these feelings. This feeling. Letting go happens of itself when you're not resisting. And you say to that feeling, if you assume that this is the feeling, like this illustration here, and this is yourself. So you have a relation to that feeling, and you say, it's okay. It's okay. I don't want to fight you. You're okay there. It's okay. It's okay. I'm letting you belong to the present moment. It's okay. It's okay. And now, just to end this, to conclude this video, I want to read to you something that really touched me. I was reading The Power of Now just yesterday, decided to reread this book again. And there was like two quotes that really touched me. And I just want to end this video by reading them to you. Everything is shown up by being exposed to the light. And whatever is exposed to the light itself becomes light. So your awareness of being, whatever is exposed to that awareness of being, whatever feeling is exposed to it, it by itself becomes white. So again, letting go is not about fixing, nor about making something better. It's about being. Attention, being present of whatever it is present, it is conscious of. Just as you cannot fight the darkness, you cannot fight the pain body. You cannot fight the feeling inside of you. Trying to do so would create inner conflict and thus further pain. Like, this is the story fighting what is already happening. Watching it is enough. Watching it implies accepting it as accepting it as part of what is at this moment, at that moment. That's why give the feeling to the moment. Let this belong to the present moment. This is all you have to do. And it's not that you have to do it. You don't have to let go if you don't want to. But it's already here. Like, the feeling is already present. Why resist it? And the last quote. Let's summarize the process. Focus attention on the feeling inside of you. Know that it is the pain body. The pain body, the resistance, the feeling. If you resist it, it's creating pain. The feeling is creating all the thoughts. That's why if you drop the story and just stay with it, here's the process. Focus attention on the feeling inside you. Know that it is the pain body. Accept that it is there. Don't think about it. Don't let the feeling turn into thinking. Don't judge or analyze. Don't make an identity for yourself out of it. Stay present and continue to be the observer of what is happening inside you. Become aware not only of the emotional pain, but also of the one who observes, the silent watcher. This is the power of the now, the power of your own conscious presence. Then see what happens. Right? It's a really simple process. Just stay with the feeling. Don't think about it. And these little statements, let this belong to the present moment. It's okay. They're reminders, right? So they just remind you that it's okay for me to just be there and see what happens. Try this with a feeling. Stay with it for at least 10 minutes and see what happens. It's really curious. The process always works. So anyways, this is everything I wanted to share about this. If you found this video helpful in any way or insightful, like it, comment down below. Let me know what is your experience with letting go. I would love to discuss. And if you're new to the channel, Higher Consciousness with Danny, well, this is what this channel is about. I will create videos to trick you into experiencing your own life by your own higher consciousness design. So if that's something that you're excited about, join me in this channel and I would love to see you around. Thank you so much and see you in the next video. Bye bye.